Welcome to Baritone Cult. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about amps. We've had a lot going on over here about amps. Some good, some bad. So, unfortunately, in the previous video, we had a high watt, super high 50 custom, a Mike Fortin modded one. And, there's not a lot of those out there. We bought that from Sonic Circus. They were amazing to deal with. Love these small music stores. If everybody keeps promoting Sweetwater, and I buy stuff from them, they're going to be the Amazon. I like dealing with the small businesses that, you can get a relationship and talk with them, and you're just not going to see that on this channel. No Patreon, none of that stuff, Just YouTube's becoming a commercial for a lot of stuff. So, in this video, we're going to share our personal experience, like we do on these videos. Basically just documenting our journey. Got a bunch of new music coming out, but let's talk about that high watt. We got that thing and opened it up. I was getting a bunch of weird noises from it, and then it was missing the cable for the pedal, and it's a TS cable, which I didn't realize at the time. So Sonic Circus, wonderful people. They overnighted me another pedal because the head was laying on the pedal. It wasn't even in the box. That was from the manufacturer. So, and this isn't a basher video. It's a pain having a business after the last few years. So, I don't mean any ill words towards anybody. I'm just sharing my experience with you guys. These amps, they're close to $4,000, man. That's a lot of bread. So, and I opened it up and all the foam broke apart from the insides. So they need a lot more padding in those, Maybe they could only get so many boxes because of their shortages out there. I don't know. I give them the benefit of the doubt. They're not out to screw me. So, but here's the thing. You guys get an amp. You send one out. You buy one used. It's going to be in the back of the UPS or the FedEx. And guess where it's sitting? Right on the bottom of the truck. Those guys are not picking a 60-pound amp up 5 feet up. They set them suckers right on the bottom. So guess what happens? All day for 8 or 9 hours. And I'm way out here in the woods and dirt roads and whatnot. And they run these delivery drivers hard. I like all my delivery guys. That's something to think about. Inspect your amp. I didn't find out till a week later when I moved that high watt that the casing was cracked. So I sent it back, and damn it, I really liked some of the sounds I was getting out of there, but it was so freaking loud. I bought a Fryette PS100, and I ain't even used the stupid thing because I ended up sending the high watt back. So we'll end up using that, and that was some type of a gift type thing. I was saving up some gift cards and whatnot. But, so then I'm in limbo. Just kicked out that big money for that high watt. And I'm like, what in the heck, man? And, it just happens. Stuff's getting shipped all over the world and whatever. Things sounded killer. But it's too freaking loud, man. There should have been an option on there for $3,800 to kick that volume down or something. Unless you're just selling to everybody that's doing shows. And them guys are barely surviving today. So, I started looking around. Well, over in Ohio, they've got Reeves amplification. And I'm going to tell you what, man. 3 in the morning, one of those bad boys popped up. And I got a killer deal on it. I got it for $1,300. It's got power scaling on it and all that. And in a few minutes, we'll get into that. I'm getting myself worked up here. So, let's talk about the amps behind me. We can jump around a little bit, right? So, this is the original Cali up here. Now, there's probably 3,000, 3,500 hours on it easily, because I've on my 3rd tube change, and I get about 1,500 hours out of each set. Matter of fact, on the back, I've got the tube, I've got the, the MA, what it's set at, milliamps, and the date I installed them and all that stuff, and I do it with the preamps, and it keeps it organized. because this thing's on from 6 to 11, 7 days a week. And how did I get this? It's a black one. You guys are probably like, oh, well, you know, they're all white. Well, I got a hold of Mike and I was like, hey, dude, I send you the money tomorrow. Can you take a look around if you have one? He got back to me and he's like, oh, you know, we got one from NAM. It's all black, you know. And so cool. I wired him the money. He sent it to me. This thing is bad to the bone. It's one of my favorites. And right now, it needs to go see our amp tech over in the east side of Michigan. Sound is cutting in and out. It's just, I've used the living life out of it, man, really. It's just been wonderful. So the interesting thing about this is the tubes are biased for 32 milliamps. That's what Fortin has in their manual. I run mine colder, like at 25. And I love the sounds. I've done some experimenting with that. I know, like with my preamp tubes, what I want them set at. I don't want them running at 100. I like them maybe at like 90 or whatnot. And so I just love Fortin products. You know, I've seen stuff online where people talk bad about them or bag on them and this and that. I tell you what, when you are going up or you on top, there's a handout, give me something, or there's a finger pointing. Very rarely do you have people in your camp. So that happens because I just don't like seeing that stuff online, you know, but whatever. I don't get involved in it. The guy makes amazing stuff. And our amp tech said, I'll tell you what, if everyone built stuff like this, I'd be out of business. So with all the high watt snafu and all that, and us using this all the time, I seen they released the blackout. I'm like, send it. I'm getting that, have a backup, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as it came in, we need to get that, have some work done. But it needs it anyways. I want someone to go through it. So let's talk about the blackout here. Well, when I got this, I had some noises too. Probably the same thing in shipping and bumping around. And so, another thing, I got some Chinese EL34 tubes in it. And I'm not trying to get in a tube debate with anybody. I got boxes and boxes and boxes of tubes that I'm familiar with over there. And I like the Tung Sol EL34B tubes. And so I yanked these out. And I yanked the preamp tubes out. There's two EHX and then one Mullard. So it immediately sounded better. It's just jumbling around with, you know, and they had it packed good. But I let them know, I'm like, hey, I love the amp. I'm not sending it back. But, you know, I've been having some problems. So, you know, maybe they want to put more padding in there. I don't know. I just know that amps are so expensive. Man, these things need to be packed really good. So there is a little bit of difference in that. I don't know. It's minute. I definitely like this one, but I'm familiar with that one. We used this one tonight, and when I changed the preamp tubes in it, I put some tung soil in there. Immediate difference. And you know, I've got all my numbers on here and stuff like that. So yeah, just a great workhorse of an amp. These Fortin Calis are. We'll see the test of time with this one because I've been using this now, but it's nice. It's quiet, and so yeah, I'm still #1 fan of this stuff, man. I really am, and I like their noise gate that they have. So that works really well too. I'm not sure if there was anything else that I wanted to go over with those. Just amp talk. And I'm going to move my chair to the other side over here and talk about that Reeves. And it's the Reeves Custom 50 PS Power Soak. And that is the power soak, power scale. So London Amplification holds the rights to this. I believe Sir and some other amp builders or whatever have this. And so when it's down like this, you're turning the wattage down on the amp. So you can crank this thing and crank your drive, and this thing sounds like, basically, I don't want to say it's like a high watt 504, but these guys are right over in Ohio. Someone listed this for 1700 or something. I think I got it for 13. I made them an offer. It came up at 3 in the morning, and I was like, oh, they lowered their price already in 5 hours? They must want to get rid of it. So I feel like I stole the thing, man. I got a killer deal, you know? It's a 2010, and we're going to have a video of this. This thing is a winner, man. I can't wait to do this. This is going to the east side of the state. I got a Send-In Effects set up from Metropolis, and our tech's going to put that in the back. I just want to gate in there just for a little bit because we record in here and there's no Send-In Effects on the back. This thing is so awesome. I'm not kidding you guys. You're just getting it straight at this channel. Ain't nobody sending us stuff. I don't even care about any of that stuff. Like I said, everything's turning into commercial, you know? And I get it. People got to pay bills, you know? It's all good. We're just doing music, showing you some of the crap that we use. And it's so awesome. I got on the phone and I called those guys. And I'm like, hey, you know, this thing is insane. It's quiet. It's articulate. And I talked to Bill over there. You know, of course, he loved hearing that. But, man, I can't wait to show you guys this amp because there's a few of them around here. So we're going to get to this in another video. I'm excited as all get out for this, and I got a great deal on it. If any of you guys see one of these for sale, I'm telling you, this was built in the USA. This is hand-wired. So sometimes companies, when they hand wire, they don't do it forever. These guys been hand wiring them forever. They've been doing it, and killer clean sound with it, and just raw, dirty, gritty. It's got JJ EL34s in it. You yank them things out of there. Let's move over to one other corner of the room, and I want to talk about this amp because when we recorded it, something came up with the mic, and it was a Royer 121, and it was another mic, and it only captured the Royer, so it sounded like dog crap. So let's take a minute, and I'm going to go over to this part. It's a radial cab link. What's this for? This is for that Fryette PS100 that only has one speaker out. You put it in here, and then you got 2 outs. That's another thing I bought when I got that high watt. So it caused me a lot of inconveniences, you know? Things need to be packed with a lot of foam, man. Not the little pieces. That's how big they were. And they all popped off. So small businesses can't afford that kind of stuff. Moving on. This is an Ampeg V7 1980. It's basically like an SVT. They're made in Japan. This is the best deal on an amp I've ever got in my life. I paid $700 for this thing. It shits and gets. It rips better than my JMP 79 all original. There's one out for sale right now, like $800. I'm telling you, we use this for guitar. This is killer with bass. I don't even use my Mesa Boogie tube head. It's in the other room. The nice thing is in the last few years, you know, we're able to land on things. Like, okay, good. This is the bass setup. We got a 15-inch on it. We got a U89. We got the Ampeg V7. A little bit ago, some tubes failed. Whoop. Popped in some new ones. Good to go. This thing just rips so hard. I got a foot switch with it. And I wanted to include it in this video because in one of our other videos when we shot it, we only had the one mic on or something. Sounded like crap. So this is a sleeper if you see one. And, you know, I got some other ones we'll do another amp video in the future. And I hope some of the information was helpful. You got a Reeves, they're bad to the bone. Ampeg V7 bad to the bone. We know Fortin is just killing it. So inspect your amps if you're buying them. Put diapers in that sucker if you're shipping it. Catch you in the next one. I forgot one thing. Back here is a brown box. You plug that into your wall. Plug your amp into that. You turn it on. Tells you the wall voltage. I'm getting 125 voltage out of this wall. Then you step that voltage down because in these Fortins, on the back, it says 115 volts. When you go in the manual, it says 120. Here's the thing you need to know. Why do you don't need a brown box? Who cares? Man, if you're playing different venues or anything like that, you can adjust that power every time. So, 125 volts comes out of the wall. I step it down to 115. It says 115 on the switch on the back. So, pretend I didn't have that. Got 125 volts coming out of the wall. Transformer steps that up 3 times. So if I'm 10 volts over the recommended, stepping that 3 times is 30 volts over. I'm pretty sure I got that correct. Regardless, here's another reason why those brown boxes are killer. Got your amp in there. Okay. Right now it's exactly 115 volts. I can put my tubes in there and then we can bias it to the exact wall voltage by that every time. So let's say I didn't have that box. Then I'm biasing tubes. Tubes are being biased at 125 volts and the amp's saying it's requiring 115. It's just something that I was really, really happy that I got. It costs as much as a normal pedal, a few $100. And I definitely recommend it. These amps are getting expensive. I couldn't believe there was 125 volts coming out. Because if you look over here on the computer, the Furmans, they say 116. Maybe it's came down a couple volts, but regardless, that's what I'm getting over here. And we have 200 amp power at this house. So, almost forgot that. That's important with the amp stuff. We'll catch you in the next one. We'll do another video talking about more amps in the other rooms. We got a handful of them over there too. Happy New Year, everybody.
Cool.
Jesus.